So, David, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about professional powder coating. I know you're up in the Ontario area. Tell us all about it.
Okay, so professional powder coating was established since 1997.
Hmm.
We serve a wide diversity of different industries. We're more of a heavy industrial company. Only
Hmm.
recently we started getting into more of the architectural market, where we
Hmm.
are seeing lots of infrastructure down here, not only in Ontario but or Toronto, but North America as a whole. So we started catering to those industries. Our key elements where we are, or our expertise, I would say, is in sandblasting and powder coating. So, we blast all the specs. We do
Hmm.
everything and anything. It's tough to tell you what we don't do. Um, we do everything and anything. We can do parts up to 100 feet long, 20,000 pounds heavy. We've done them before. Um, One of the industries that we're seeing that's really booming right now is the electrical industry. Not
Right.
necessarily automotive, but with all the infrastructure projects helping to power the grid.
Hmm.
We're seeing a lot of that. We do a lot of different testing for our product, general testing,
Hmm.
and then there's advanced testing. And that's pretty much it. So to answer your question, to
Right.
summarize, we cater towards industrial, and we do sandblasting, and we are an AMA powder coater as well, just so you know.
Got you certified for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the area you serve, like I said, the Ontario area. I know you do a lot in the Buffalo and the U.S. area,
Yep.
all over. Really, you have a. What is your range that you all service with that?
We go all of pretty much Canada, so the Montreal, the Quebec area, and then we do neighboring cities of Canada. So whether it's Buffalo, New York, Chicago, Detroit, Texas. So just whatever is in maybe 1,000 kilometers or maybe even over that range.
Right.
So we serve that as well.
Right, right. Like I said, large facility. It's about what 75,000 square
Seventy-five
feet. Is that
thousand
right?
square feet with about 80 employees working here.
About 80 employees with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, like I said, keeping very busy on that.
Yeah.
And like you said, you talked a lot about heavy duty powder coating, and like I said, I know you've got the your conveyor line, which I believe I read it was like 800 feet. Is
Yeah.
that right? And yeah, tell us a little about that line that you've
So
got.
that conveyor line was newly built, I believe, in 2016. With the
Hmm.
demand for work, what we realized in Ontario was there was a big spur in powder coating, huge demand, but there was limited people or coders that can accommodate that type of volume. For contract manufacturing, volume fabrication. So we decided to put in that line, and we do steel on that line, but only recently we have turned that line into a AMA 2604 and
Hmm.
2605 certified applicator with the RO rinses, and it's a 5 stage wash, and all that good stuff. So we are seeing the aluminum really skyrocket for the AMA work.
Gotcha, gotcha. You also have a very large batch line,
Yep.
right? I said do some of those things. I know it's up to something like 25,000 pounds
Yep.
of things you can do. What are some of the parts and stuff that you're doing for that?
So we do a lot of light poles right now, for a lot of
Mhm,
transit stations are building down here, connecting people from different cities. We do a lot of that. We do a
mhm,
lot of just industrial heavy weldments, for nuclear, the power industry, pulp and
mhm.
paper industry, wind, turbines. So we're doing a lot of the heavier stuff, and those things they require, a very specialized coatings. So
Right,
that's
right.
typically what we do in our batch system.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know you all. We spoke a little bit earlier. I mean, you guys. Something about you. You can do up to like some of the 50 plus mils, right?
Yeah,
You can do some very specialized coating
yeah.
applications. Is that what does that all
So
entail
usually
exactly?
when we deal with that type of coating, we do pipeline work as well. So anything that gets submersed into the ground, or anything that
Mm,
gets, it goes into the ocean, offshore projects we've done. Um, so anything that gets submerged into the ocean, they require, thicker paint, specialized
right.
coating, so that, to prevent rust, corrosion, longevity of the part is what they ultimately need. Now, with that being said, only a few people know how to apply 50 mils of paint without no drips, no sags, right? It's not
Right.
easy,
Right.
but
Right.
we do have technology, and we've developed different procedures to make that happen.
Right. Yeah, you can run into some big problems if you're putting too
Oh,
much on, right? And I
100%.
get
Yep.
it takes right. There's not too many people that can really do that and do it, do it effectively and do it
Yep.
exactly to the specifications. But
Yep.
yeah, you were talking about a big push of powder in there. What was the reason for that? Was it a lot of the some of the industries that were sprouting up, or what was the
There's
demand for that?
ever since COVID, I'm sure every business knows some businesses they are doing well, they skyrocket. Some businesses are not doing the greatest, and that's just how things are, I guess. With
Hmm.
us, what we're seeing, because we're a very customized shop and we cater to different industries, the
Hmm.
larger industries that is a demand, we're seeing huge demand but limited supply for powder
Mm.
coaters around that can accommodate these big projects, like us, for example, right?
Right.
So,
Hmm.
like I mentioned not too long ago, the energy grid with all these buildings and condos and houses that's going up, they all need electricity. So
Right.
we're seeing a
Hmm.
big spur in electricity needed. And with,
Mm.
for example, items like power transformers or electrical boxes, they need a
Right.
specialized coatings because you don't want to put a transformer in, for example, and it blows up, right? Because
Right.
of due to
Right.
corrosion, right? Because the
Hmm.
first failure of a transformer is inside is one thing, but if rust starts to cater into there, it's
Mm.
no good.
Right.
So
Right.
with us, what we've developed specialized coatings with products. We have patent technology we've developed with suppliers as well.
Hmm.
That has helped us achieve greatness in our coating, whether it's salt spray, UV, chemical resistance, all sorts of those different types of things. So that's where
Hmm.
we stand out. And then, um, with our specialized coatings, we get, attract a lot more work.
Right,
Yep.
right. Like I said, these specialized. I know you're working with your suppliers, right?
Yep.
With them, do you go back to them and kind of tell them what are the things you're wanting, and they're coming back? You're doing some testing for them. Is that
So
basically what's happening?
they do our own testing. They develop different products, whether it's in their lab, they have their chemist. We have our own lab here as well. So we have our own chemist that we develop different products as well. So they kind of go back and forth and contact each other. Well,
Oh,
what can we do here? What can we do here? Because at the end of the day, it's business for them and it's business for us, right?
right,
So
right.
we have good partnerships over the last maybe close to 30 years now, where we are developing specific products for different industries. We're not just buying a product off the shelf like, a typical
Right,
product, right?
right.
We believe in quality. Quality is our biggest thing, and we push for quality and longevity of a product.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, when not too many facilities have, like you said, chemists or something like that
yeah,
working working there with that. You talk about that. You talk about the ALMA approvals. I know those are tough to get,
yeah,
and you've got to work towards those. You got to spend a little money to get those, and in the training and everything, and with the chemists, it seems like your ownership has a big commitment to do that, right?
yeah,
You kind of set yourselves apart,
yeah.
right? I mean,
That's
it's got to be.
that's our plan because just what I'm seeing or what we're seeing as a
Mhm.
business is like I said, there's a lack of coders around, or
Mm,
everybody's looking for quality work, and down in Ontario, there's a big demand, right?
right.
And the big
Hmm.
push on AAMA is, and you probably know this yourself as well, is everybody's doing liquid paint right now,
Right.
right? And there's a big
Right.
push because of government regulations and the VOCs that
To
liquid releases
get away from that. Yeah.
exactly from liquid to powder. But there's not many guys or powder coaters that are AMA certified. So we
Right.
got into the business, and there's many architects transferring from liquid to powder now, and that's
Mm,
where we see our strength grow.
right. It's funny. A lot of shops are, kind of educating a lot of these architects and builders and
Yeah,
stuff about this. Is that something you all have tried to do as well
I
as let
I
people
do
know?
it every week. We because the what we're seeing because we're doing a lot of infrastructure projects, so constructions, transits, government projects. A lot of the times, the architects or the engineers sometimes they don't know what they're talking about. I'll give you an example.
Mm.
For example, I don't know if you've ever been down to Toronto, Ontario, but
Yes.
we're doing a big job right now for Blue Mountain. So the
Mm.
job in Blue Mountain, the architect spec an AMA spec on steel, which
Mm.
and over galvanize, which I don't know how that
Mm.
works. So
Right.
the contractor reached out to me, and I looked at the spec and I said right away, this will not work. You can use an AMA powder, but you will not get the warranty because rust will, everybody knows steel is gonna corrode.
Right.
So I have to change the spec and I tell them, listen, this is what we can do. and you can still get the UV, you can still get this, but the supplier will not warranty this product because it's on
Hmm.
steel. So I
Right,
gave my own
right,
specs. I said, this is what we can do. We can offer you whether you want a super durable or you want a fluoropolymer, whatever you want. We can do that, and we go from there. And so far, they love what they see.
right, right. Yeah, you can win some of those battles, right?
Yeah.
Of educating without, getting people up in a frenzy because you're trying to change things. You're trying to give them a better product, things that'll
Exactly.
last.
And now what we're seeing as well, a lot of city work we're doing as well. The cities and the municipalities are actually asking me or the company to spec
Hmm.
some jobs. So that some jobs are coming directly to professional powder coat because of the spec, right? Because they don't know, I guess, what to do. So they're
Right.
asking us, okay, can you give us a powder procedure that we can spec it in the drawings and you bid on the job from there?
Right, right. Yeah, it's kind of always done that way, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of the way, you got to kind of educate them with what they're going to. Well, there's new capabilities, like I said. And
100%.
again, there's not very many people like yourselves that can do larger
Yeah,
projects. And that's probably been something that has been a roadblock for them. They'll just fall back to the liquid coating on that.
yeah.
But, you mentioned, all the quality specifications you've got and everything. When you have 70 to 80 people like you've got there, how do you keep that, maintaining? This is what we've got to get, good quality. We've got to get that. I mean, it's sometimes that can be difficult. I think in some larger facilities is really get everybody to buy into what it is we have to do, the specs we have to meet day in and day out. I mean,
So usually what we do, a lot of our team members have been here from like the 90s, since 19 when we started, right? Obviously,
hmm.
people are reaching retirement age and all that stuff, but we have team leaders that are training other people. We are looking for qualified candidates. Not everybody and anybody comes and works with us. You have to have your head on here because the amount of stuff that goes through this door is insane,
Right,
right?
right. Mm.
So in terms of the quality, we have a team leader, then you have, a supervisor, you have a plant manager and all that stuff. And just so you know, each product that goes out of my door is anywhere from 15 to 30 different testing, right? That
Mm.
that we do.
Okay.
Whether it's the regular powder coat, whether it's a packaging testing, whether it's mills or thickness or a simple tag putting on the part. So every product goes through the finishing line. After the line, we have a guy to inspect for packaging. We have a guy to inspect out the door. If there's any
Mm.
issues, we have to, I guess, start all over, whatever procedure that is. So everybody's
Right.
trained to know that we have strict high quality standards at profession.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say these are some big parts. I saw some of the electronic components, some of the cabinets, and everything. These are large parts that are moving in and out. I mean, it's almost like a dance move the way
Yeah.
you are moving parts in and out, right? I mean, this is heavy stuff.
Yeah.
That is not the small things. I know you all have invested heavily in even some of your semis and transportation,
Yep.
right? You're moving some things around a lot with that, so it's a commitment with that. Let me ask you. I think you've only been in this industry for how long now?
I've been in the industry for 3 years personally. I came from
Three
automotive
years.
sales, but then I joined the powder coating in 3 years. We're actually a family run business.
Okay.
So
Okay. Are you a member of the family, I guess, or
yeah,
no?
I'm a member. I'm one of the
Okay.
sons. Yeah.
So I know it's been going on. Had you had a lot of background in powder coating before coming there full time,
Me,
or?
yes. Yeah, it's my father, my mother, they've were, incorporated the business. I've always been around, like in and out, but I've never fully worked here. And then, when COVID hit, then I needed a career change. So I do the sales
Right.
here. There's other family
Gotcha.
members working here as well. So everybody has their own department that they're looking over.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 years seems like a very short time, but
Yep.
like I said, you've been around it your whole life,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
seeing and like I said, watching your parents, the ups and downs and
Yeah.
trying to get it moving. Is that pretty close? So and like I said, they both working at the facility still, or is they?
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
everybody's working at the facility. So they all have their
Right.
own, position, their strength, their weaknesses, and we all bounce ideas off of each other.
Right. Good and bad about being working for a family organization, right? I mean, I'm sure you got to kind of separate
Yep.
when you leave the door, right?
Yep.
But like you said, is in the past 3 years, it sounds like you've been doing a lot of driving, no pun intended, but driving what needs to be done here to get to the. It seems like the demand is out there,
Yep. Yep.
certainly for what you all can deliver with that.
Yeah.
And what's on the horizon? I mean, are you planning? You've got the conveyor line, you got the batch line. Anything you're looking to add, or anything else
We
that looks to be?
we are looking, well, to be honest with you, in this facility we're out of space. There's nothing more we can add, there's nothing more we can really do. It's just in and out. So we are looking for the future. We are looking, to expand in every way, in any way that we can, whether it's more team force, whether it's a bigger facility, whether it's another paint line. We're going by the demand as we're growing. Certain industries we are seeing growing more than some. Um, I'm a very statistical person, so
Mm-hmm.
I know statistics is good, but sometimes it doesn't always go as planned. So some of our
Right.
industries, some of our customers, we're very close with our customers, so we're constantly chatting with them. Hey, where do you see business the next 6 months, the
Right.
year, the 2 years, or wherever? So we have a good projection of where the market is headed in certain industries.
Right.
Right, like the architectural,
Right.
the way
Right.
housing is going, and infrastructure, that's gonna keep climbing for years to come.
Right, right,
Right.
yeah. I get the sense, a lot of shops will just sit back and wait for people to call them, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like with you all, you're going out there, you like to be a little bit more aggressive, and actually, like you said, educating customers who probably didn't think that they could work with, or they needed to work with a powder coater,
Yeah.
right? Or, you can educate them to say, this can be coated, here's the benefits, here's what's going to happen, it's going to be cleaner, all these things. That sounds like you've been a little bit more aggressive in doing that.
Well, 100%. We try to, like, a lot of time we get customers that come from other powder coating shops, and hey, there's many people that do great work in here in Toronto as well. But sometimes, by like 99% of our product is outdoors. So
Mm,
we're catering to
okay.
rust, we're catering to blasting, we're catering to galvanize. We know all the material. Now, maybe the 1 to 2% I would say is indoors. We don't do much indoor projects. We cater more to the
Right,
outdoor. That's just our client base. So there are some
right,
times when a customer may come and say, well, for example, let's use something small. Let's use a railing. There's a process for indoor. There's a process for outdoor. I see all the time a customer may come with an indoor process, but that job is going outdoor. And then you hear,
right.
well, I went to this place and that place, and I was recommended this. So I like to tailor to the customer's needs for the long term.
Mm,
I don't believe in, okay, well, we're going to paint it and make it look now, but it's not going to last a year outside, right?
right,
I like to
right.
give
Yeah,
them 5 to 10 years outside, right? And
right,
I can guarantee my coating because we use different products. We're not only using, a regular polyester or super durable. We're using thermoplastics, fluoropolymers, polyurethanes. We're using,
right.
depending on where it goes, right?
Right, because it
Um,
is not one size fits all on this. Right. It's different coatings for different needs. I guess is
100%,
what.
exactly that. And it
Yeah.
caters to different industries. So we kind of have an idea of what goes where. And if we don't, then we do our own research. We test every single powder individually, all the different chemistries, right? How they bind, how they
Right.
bond together, how the flow of them, how they melt, all those things.
Right. Right. You would say, yeah. You've got to really, like you said, listen to what the customer is saying to
Yep.
you, and sort of look at the specifications, and then, like you said, I'm sure there's been times in the past, and not just you all, but others who have said, yeah, we really can't give you that. But it sounds like you guys are, looking for a way to get it done for
Yep.
them because they need it,
Yep.
right? They have to get it done with that. What was the biggest, when you came in full time? Like I said, I know you had the background in it, but when you moved over full time, what were some of the biggest surprises that you realized, doing this full time with this?
The biggest
Anything?
surprise was how much you can grow the powder coating world and the industry, I guess. It's just
Right,
about number one is a connection, but number two is the quality of work. And I strongly believe, not always, but I see it, that you put quality, chances are your customer would pay the price. For an industrial sense, if it's a railing, then it's not that big of a project. But when you're dealing with the large projects, you in this area of expertise in powder coating, a lot of people are uneducated. So it takes
mm,
educated people to tell them, well, let's use this product because it's going to fail in the world or wherever it's going, right?
right,
Um, so my coming into this industry, what I realize is how big it is, how big you can grow in this industry, how many different industries require powder coating. Like anything metal requires powder coating. Like almost any industry that has metal in it, right? The food industry.
right, right,
We deal with a lot of bakeries as well. Um, you know, like, I can't think of something that doesn't require powder coating, right?
right. Or could
Um,
use it, right? Or could use it as a for what they're doing now.
yeah,
Certainly, yeah,
exactly
yeah,
that.
definitely. Yeah, and that's it. Architecture is getting that way. They're moving more and more
Yeah.
towards it of seeing where they could, they could do a lot of those applications where, again, before they're either using paint or anodizing something, but they can use the coating to get a much better process out of it. But yeah, like I said, it sounds like it's something that you've kind of and the one point was that you working outside the industry for several years, right? You kind of saw how other businesses, how other industries run,
Yeah.
right? You mentioned you mentioned people are willing to pay for quality. You're working in the automotive industry. People are willing to pay for a good car that'll look good, last good, run well, right? Sometimes that's all they're looking for, right? They're not just looking for the cheapest.
Yeah. And the other thing that I've learned is powder coating as a whole is the same. Like you can have the same product, but your process, your technology, the way you do things is what makes you different than everybody else, right? Like
Right.
everybody can powder coat. There's, the competition. There's many powder coaters, but how do you stand out differently than everybody else is ideally what matters. Is going to grow your business, right? Like I said, we've done that. We've expanded in the sense that we can do the larger items. So obviously, if you can do the larger items, you can also do the smaller items, right?
Right.
Whereas the smaller shops, they cannot do the larger, and they got to send it to guys like me, for example, which we get all the time,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
we've, tried to corner the market in whatever way we can.
Yeah. Have you seen over the past 3 years since you've joined? I mean, have you, looked and see how much you guys have grown? Has there been an exponential growth of
Since
before you kind of did it full time?
since I've came here and as a team, we've doubled what we were doing. We've doubled production, we've doubled sales, we've doubled revenue. It's just because we got into a lot more markets that when there's being a family business and like talking about we were talking about family earlier. Everybody feeds ideas off of each other. So before it was
Right.
maybe a 1 or 2 man show, and now there's 5, 6 people involved, right? So
Right.
the stress level and the ideas bounces from people to people to people. I have my expertise, siblings have their expertise, parents got their expertise. So we all cater, but at the end of the day, we have one goal, and that's to grow and ultimately try to dominate the powder coating market in whatever way we can, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Definitely, yeah. Like you said, and like you said, it takes a plan and it to be persistent,
yeah,
and like you said, and to be willing to maneuver. And like you said, if you don't have that coating, you work with your supplier, you get that coating. You try to
yeah,
get something that's going to fit to it, not just close the door on it, but try to make it work.
yeah,
So that seems to be the. It's not a big secret to success,
yeah.
right? it's
I know.
it's hard work, innovation, and really fulfilling the customer a lot. Seems like, yeah,
Yeah,
with that. Well, like I said, and I appreciate you taking time out and talking with us. We'll appreciate that very much.
yeah, yeah. That's not a problem.